Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Alright folks, so can we please just cut through the crap? You know, again, we're in one of these situations where we got this full-blown communist leftoid, and him, his crew, and his supporters are trying to play this game. Let's call it the lie to the people and pretend I'm not a communist game. You know, Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass does a great job at playing that game. I'm not extreme, I'm not a communist, and no, I'm definitely not a Hamas radical. I'm just a common sense Democrat socialist. See, there's a difference. The moment you put democratic in front of socialist, well then all of a sudden it becomes a different thing. We're just trying to create a Swedish-style utopia. Yeah, okay. You know, that's nice and all, but at this point I'd say the jig is up, the truth has been exposed, the debate is over. Zoran Mamdani is a full-blown communist grifter, and anybody pretending otherwise is either totally blind or is simply buying into his con. We got an old clip of our pal Zoran Mamdani here, where he's saying that we need to, quote, seize the means of production. Wow, I mean, holy crap. You know, the rest of the communist world is like, yeah, you know, been there, done that. We tried the whole seizing of the means of productions before. It didn't exactly work out so great. We're moving more towards free markets. I mean, you see it across the world. Russia, China, Vietnam. But this guy, this Mamdani character, clearly not taking the cue from history, is saying, nope, we need to run it back, folks. American style. It's a full-blown communist confession. Zoran Mamdani wants to seize the means of production and also bring Soviet-style grocery stores and eliminate the existence of billionaires. I mean, the guy's a full-blown commie. Let me show you guys what's going on. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so take a look at this.
What the purpose is about this entire project, it's not simply to raise class consciousness, but to win socialism. And obviously raising class consciousness is a critical part of that. But making sure that we have candidates that both understand that and are willing to put that forward at every which moment that they have, at every which opportunity that they're given. We have to continue to elect more socialists. And we have to ensure that we are unapologetic about our socialism. There are also other issues that we firmly believe in, whether it's BDS, right? Or whether it is the end goal of seizing the means of production, where we do not have the same level of support at this very moment. And what I want to say is that it is critical that in the way that we organize, in the way that we set up our work and our priorities, that we do not leave any one issue for the other, that we do not meet a moment and only look at what people are ready for, but that we are doing both of these things in tandem. Because it is critical for us to both meet people where they're at and to also organize for what is correct and for what is right, and to ensure that over time we can bring people to that issue. The ramifications of victory here is the difference between life and death for so many of our brothers, sisters, and family beyond the binary across this borough of Queens. It's the difference between having cash bail anymore or not. It's the difference between having sex work be decriminalized and not. And with every battle that we fight as socialists, we need to remember what the stakes are and ground ourselves in them and why those stakes are important and critical to us as individuals.
The means of production. Yeah, that's not a slip-up, friends. That's essentially little Zoran's communist manifesto. That's a full-blown admission. This guy isn't some misunderstood progressive. No, he's the leftist tyrant that wants to take over private property, crush free enterprise, seize the means of production, hand it to the state and turn America into a socialist hellscape. And now people on the left want to act as if he's not some extreme left-winger. No, he's just a common sense thinker, a Democrat socialist whose ideas everybody agrees with, right? That's the typical Bernie Sanders grift. I mean, come on, there's two explanations. Either this guy is a full-blown hammer and sickle communist revolutionary, or he's just a chameleon, which honestly I think might be even more scary. Because you know, with this character, I think it goes well beyond the whole communist thing. He is a walking identity crisis, and that's the biggest red flag in politics. One day he's a Muslim candidate, the next day he's the socialist savior, one day he's pro-Hamas, the next day he's talking about queer liberation, one day he's a patriotic American who's fully assimilated, and then the next day, well...
So the third holy grail of taboos in American politics, you have socialism, you have Islam, and then you have Palestine, and you are really going for the trifecta.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go. Tell me, why is Palestine a part of your politics?
When you grow up as someone, especially in the third world, you have a very different understanding of the Palestinian struggle.
One day he's Muslim, one day he's Sikh, then he's Hindu, then he's African, and then pretty soon he's going to be talking about keeping hot sauce in his purse and talking with the slang as Al Sharpton sits behind him.
I'm proud to be a bartender. Ain't nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with working retail, folding clothes for other people to buy. There is nothing wrong with preparing the food that your neighbors will eat. There is nothing wrong with driving the buses that take your family to work. There is nothing wrong with being a working person in the United States of America. And there is everything dignified about it.
You know, there's just too many masks, too many outfits. I think it's got most people asking the question, what is he? What does he really represent? Is he a communist? Is he a cultural warrior? Is he identity X, Y, or Z? Nobody frickin' knows. No, the one thing I think people are gathering is that he's a politician. A dress-up politician like Justin Trudeau on frickin' steroids. All the costumes and all the labels. Hashtag diversity. I don't know about you guys, but for me, I mean, you simply just cannot trust somebody who's so many different people. The whole thing just feels like a damn con job. And that creates a little bit of an issue in terms of trustworthiness. You know, it's all about trust. And I think that's the real issue here. How can you possibly believe anything that Mamdani says when he's represented himself in so many different ways or to be so many different things? He plays the race card, he plays the religion card, the communist card, and then of course denies it all when it's not convenient. One minute he's seizing the means of production, and then the next he's denying that he's a communist whatsoever. I'm sorry, but in my view, people like this, you know, it's the typical Hasanabi trope. Spoiled, rotten, trust fund baby grifters who are constantly shifting their story to fit the audience. People want you to believe that Mamdani is the next great leader, but I truly believe he's the biggest con man, the biggest manipulator I think I've ever seen. I don't think this guy's here to solve problems, to end the plight of regular New Yorkers. No, he's here to exploit divisions and push an agenda. And you know what? I really wouldn't be surprised if his rise to fame here is similar to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's. They probably found this guy at a literal audition just like they found her. And he's probably got the same kind of donors or power players behind him just as they're behind AOC. In other words, it just doesn't feel genuine. It feels like he's yet again another grifter, another chameleon, and another liar. He's playing the same game as every other extreme left-winger. Appeal to as many grievances as you can. Speak to all the people who are committed to grievance politics. Say what those people want to hear as you hide your real agenda, and of course hope nobody notices. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I notice. I notice it quite clear. I think it's quite evident. This guy cannot be trusted. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.